So there are many different loads that a boardwalk designer needs to evaluate when they're looking at the boardwalk system. Some of them are situational or environmental that affect the boardwalk system itself. Some are required by code. For example, if you have a very narrow walkway, such as just a simple single file walkway, all that you're required to design for potentially from a vertical standpoint is maybe a pedestrian loading. You may be looking at something like 60 or 90 pounds per square foot. If the walkway is being used as a platform, as a observation pier, then you're going to get more than just a single file traffic. You may have to design for some larger floor loads that it could be 100 or 250 pounds per square foot. Think about these amphitheater areas. You have to look at how the context of the boardwalk system itself. Next, as the boardwalk itself gets wider, you may have to design for vehicular loading, and whether that's a maintenance vehicle or is simply a small pickup truck, or in some cases an ambulance, emergency vehicle, those can become quite substantial loading, vehicular loading. The code does require you to design for specific truck loadings if you go to certain widths. For example, if you're between 7 and 10 feet wide, you're required to design for what they call an H5 truck, which is a 10,000 pound truck loading. If you go over 10 feet, you're required to design for an H10 truck, which is a 20,000 pound vehicular load. There are other loading conditions that need to be evaluated, and I mentioned situational. Depending on where you are in the country, seismic may be a concern for your boardwalk system. We have designed boardwalks in the western states, in the high seismic areas, and there's ways to tie the components together, whether it be mechanically or whether it be some of our connectors that we offer for our boardwalk system. They can be tied down in those to handle some seismic loads. You may have some uplift concerns. Maybe rising water conditions or floodplain conditions are important to you. On the coastal areas, often we're asked about how would you design for these uplift forces that we experience on the coastal areas. Well, we do have ways to design for those, and we have done that before. And they can be some very significant forces that we're looking at, but there are ways to design for that. So think about what goes on environmentally around situational at the boardwalk site itself.